Hello, thanks for being with me. I'm Amy Steingart. I'm a poet. I live in Brooklyn, New York. It's May, and I'm going to read you some new poems. This first poem is called News for You. I've got news for you. Just because you like someone doesn't mean it will work. Just because they are romantic beyond belief, more romance than you ever dreamed was possible, here's the news, might not mean a thing. After a first date full of promise, full of joy, he seeds the ground with phone calls and writes you poems while you are sleeping and texts them daily to your phone, straight from his heart, ardent, passionate, full of joy. I've got news for you. Once you say to this someone, I've seen you twice, this is crazy, I want regular dates, he retreats into his head, to his circling thoughts, to his extreme fear that he won't live up to the promise of those poems, that he can't, that he will screw it up completely. This he knows without even trying. I want to hold your hand, to share that news with you gently. Still, I feel in my heart that if you had read closely enough, if you had finished the last inch of print on the very last page, you would have sensed something as your thumb smudged the columns of newsprint. You might have felt regret as you tried to wash the ink from your fingers. You might have wondered why the smears lingered, why it was such a challenge to scrub them off. You rarely read the news. He reads it daily. Maybe now is a good time to start. So that was news for you. Here's a second poem I'm going to share. This poem is called Each One of Our Ancestors. I pray, but I didn't used to call it praying. It is ritual, song, hope. Each one of us together in the borrowed church, each one of us in our bodies, each one of us alone in our own thoughts, each one of us connected by our hearts, each one of our ancestors on our tongues. Each one of my ancestors. The only grandmother I knew became a communist after she made it from Russia to America. My father asked her longingly if he could be bar mitzvahed. It was never going to happen. Did she laugh at religion the way a good communist should? Did I invent this phrase to tell the story? Whose words on my tongue? Each one of her ancestors on her tongue, she told me about her father, a lay rabbi in Russia, so strict that nothing could be cooked on Shabbat. She and her sister, hungry on a Saturday, cooked 2 potatoes while he was out. Just as they were about to eat them, they saw him return through the window. She and her sister put the potatoes down the toilet. She giggled when she told that story, and she was not a giggler. Her sister, Manya, my great-grandfather, Abraham, on her tongue, but no boiled potatoes. My tongue is comforted that my Shabbat space holds more than the bodies around me. They struggle as I do with prayer, with God, with beauty and ugliness, with boredom, with fear. In empty spaces, each one of our ancestors sits in the pews, looks at the Torah, brushes our shoulders, davens, wonders why women wear a tallis, whisper and murmur, their voices the faintest vibration, a buzzing on my tongue. Each one of our ancestors on our tongues. So thank you for listening and enjoy this summer, which is going to be a lot less scary for all of us.